Extreme. And now, your hosts, Scott, Jana, and Nine. You wanted the dirt on Tulsa. You got it.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Tulsa Music Stream. I am here with Jana, and it's me and her going to do it as a couple tonight. Or today. Today. It is Sunday, August 29th. It is episode 42, and we will be interviewing Andrey Smirnoff. He's the guitar player for U.D.O Dirkschneider, which is U.D.O.
Yes.
U.D.O. So, yeah, they're a band from Germany, U.D.O Dirkschneider, formerly of Accept, the band from Germany, the Balls to the Wall fame, all that good stuff. Loved Accept. I was a big fan of them, so this is going to be really cool to talk to someone. He's from Russia, and we'll be talking to him in Germany, so it's... yeah, we're just all over the place.
We're very cultured today.
Yeah,
he's
cool.
got quite a history. He's like us. He's been playing music since he was a teenager, and he has over 20 years experience in the music industry. And U.D.O is not his only project. He has a lot of other things that he's done and that he's currently doing. He's a very accomplished solo guitarist as well.
Yeah, great guitar player.
Totally. We were checking out his stuff, and it's just fantastic. So we're going to be excited to get to know him a lot better. First things first, once again, we are missing our friend, Nine, who's just been through probably one of the most difficult weeks of his life. We truly, our hearts and love go out to him. He battled COVID. He's on the backside of that. We're glad to report doing great. So he's through that, but he did lose his cat of 16 years on Friday. If any of you got the pleasure to know his cat, Lupus, you knew how cool a cat he was, and we certainly... Scott and I are cat owners and cat lovers ourselves. We feel that pain. We're missing you greatly, and we love you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again real soon. We're so sorry for your loss. He was a great kitty, and I know you're hurting, but we love you, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great cat.
Definitely. Well, it's also this is the big Rocklahoma week. And
yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit after the interview with Andrey, but I know people are already setting up camp out there. Did you say that?
Well, no, well, someone was setting up a tent, and I thought it was them setting up at camp or whatever. But they were rehearsing setting up the tent at their house.
Oh, okay. So you have to practice setting up a tent.
But yeah,
cool.
many people are ready and geared up for Rocklahoma. It's coming. Of course, we have this Thursday is the pre-show, and I know our friend Nine will be playing that when Dead Metal Society.
Yes.
I think Bullet Boys will be there. Stephen Piercy. We're going to try and be there ourselves. We got a camera that we're going to be rolling around with and doing some media stuff. Mm-hmm. So we got some media passes, and we'll be kind of running around. And Thursdays, I'm really looking forward to that one especially. And then of course our band Rocket Science will be playing Saturday. And I don't know if the times have come out yet or not, or the schedule, but
I'm not sure about that.
If so, we'll announce our time and everything when it comes out.
Right.
I don't know if it has or not, but I don't keep up with everything Rocklahoma like some of you guys do. But.
Well, some of them are absolutely on top of all things Rocklahoma. We'll get more into that. It looks like Andrey is getting ready to come in the room. I'm making sure I've got everything set up properly here.
But we just had a Caroline Spine show that went well at I want to say Big Splash, but it's not. It's Joe's Safari
Joe's.
Joe's.
That was super great. Yes, I think he is coming in. Andrey, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Guys.
Okay.
Do you see me? Do you hear me? Yeah.
Well, we can hear you. I see a still picture of you. I don't see live audio. There you are. There you are. Very good.
Hey, Andrey, how you doing?
Oh.
Awesome.
Oh, guys, thanks. I'm fine. Yeah, so it seems to be working right now, right?
I think it is. As long as you can hear us well, we can hear you well, and we're ready to get rocking and rolling with you. How have you been?
Awesome, guys. Just last days of summer, so trying to be outside as long as possible.
Yes.
So walking, just hanging out and enjoying the sun, basically with my family.
So I guess recently the Bullhead City was canceled for your, was it August 23rd date or something like that, or?
No, for us, you mean this kind of small version of Walking Festival, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Bullhead City.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be in the middle of September.
Oh, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
now, so we just played 2 festivals. One was in Belgium, a really good one, Alcatraz Festival. Maybe you heard about that.
Yes.
And the other one was in Czech Republic, smaller but also nice. And yeah, we had a great time finally. We played for the first time. Yeah, I guess the last show was like 11 months ago. Can you imagine? So.
Oh, wow. So what are you doing to keep busy? You got a whole lot of stuff going on production-wise, recording and things like that?
Of course. We do a lot of production nowadays because that's only one way to survive, being a musician. So basically I'm constantly busy with new songs, recordings, just working in the studio. So, and we're gonna get new records soon. I mean, it's gonna be out in October, as far as I know.
Yes.
Yeah, Game Over.
Game
Probably
Over.
Yes, exactly.
We have that album cover right here. That you said we read that's coming out in October. So what can fans of U.D.O expect from this new album that's coming out?
Mm-hmm. That's a brilliant question, because I'm also a fan of classic heavy metal and, of course, fan of Accept and classics, U.D.O classic stuff,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I kind of let's go a little bit deeper into details, because I don't want to just give you the simple answer.
Sure.
on
Right.
that, because that's because it's really important also for me being the fan. So I kind of wanted to have this record as a kind of back to the roots thing,
Yeah.
And also composing wise, because I was thinking like, okay, so I'm playing modern metal, like with all these crazy samples and effects. I know how to create this kind of music with my band Everlost. I can also be more, like a poppy in a way, right?
Yes.
So, but I was like, yeah, but for our fans, they just don't need that. Let's serve the audience first.
Sure.
And that was my goal. To be honest. And yeah, so we have really awesome record right now with old school sound without any stupid samples and the other bullshit,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and actually now it's crazy thing going on online, because I'm reading comments sometimes on YouTube, for example, right? Because we have a few songs released already. So, and some people actually complaining kinda about the sound, because for them it sounds like unnatural, because they got to they used to hear, like samples all the way since I don't know, like 2000 something, beginning of this.
Right.
And now this kind of old school metal record sounds kind of unreal to them, and they think that's the fake one, but it's not.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure that the people here in the States watching this, we need to know a little bit more about you as a person. I know that you're a very accomplished guitar player, not just as U.D.O's guitar player, but also a solo artist. And Scott and I here we're musicians just like you are. We started in an early age.
I know.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got your start in music and playing the guitar, and who some of your main influences were when you got your start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my story will be, I guess, not really usual for many of you guys, because I was born in a small town, like 30 kilometers away from Moscow, in Russia. So, and basically music was my passion since I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I kind of always wanted to be on stage. And of course I was watching this like Metallica VHS cassettes, and Iron Maiden and all this stuff. And I've been dreaming that, I want to be there. I want to be on stage. That's what I want to do in my life.
Sure.
Yeah, and like slowly, I formed my own band, which is still existing, but of course it's more like for fun nowadays because I simply don't have a time for that. And if you're doing your own thing, you should really push that always like 24/7. You should take care of that as it's like a baby. You cannot you cannot tell like, hey, I'm going on tour for next 3 months. So, and for last 3 months I was also on tour.
Right.
Let's make a break. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I formed my band Everlast, and I always wanted to play metal. And like in Russia, it was not really big thing. I mean, it never was a popular genre, right? So maybe in the 80s it was like, yeah, that's something new because we still had this Iron Curtain going on, and all this shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So but then it got like normal thing, like hey, metal band, and even worse, musician, the type of the guy who plays guitar, it was more like about alcohol, drugs,
Right.
and all these crazy things. And I was like, no, I can prove you, it can be different, And of course, then I got to know some other guys, and I was working hard on my technique. I was learning how to create melodies, how to create songs, and then all of a sudden I was just getting higher and higher. Like taking let's say positions in the bands, in the old school hard rock bands in Russia, which were really popular and big. Like we were selling millions of vinyls in the end of 90s, beginning of in the end of the 80s, actually, beginning of 90s, yes. And I kind of, I became well known as a guitarist in my country as just a hard rock guitarist. And of course, my band was always, behind me.
Right.
And it was more like an experimental thing because I knew that this kind of music is not going to work anyway in Russia because it was too heavy, too complicated, it's not that easy to understand for normal. Yeah.
Now you started that band Everlast
Everlast,
when you were 15 years old, correct?
Yes, correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Man,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and it was like, can you imagine, like basically in the middle of nowhere, and like 4 dudes trying to play kind of death sadist, or whatever. It was like a mixture of death, probably with In Flames, dark tranquility, at the gates, something like that. So plus all these crazy samples and synthesizers on the top of that. So it was really crazy.
Now, were you living in, or do you remember the Moscow Peace Festival when all the bands would come over there to Russia? Do you remember that time and that era? And if so, what was that like? Like the talk with all the local musicians, these big bands all coming together from a lot of bands from America, and of course Scorpions were there. Do you remember any of that back then?
Yeah, that was a huge thing. Seriously, probably people been waiting for this event, and it was happening, and the rock music went slowly, but it was just going like that.
Yes.
Because that was the top, that was the highest peak, like the mountain,
Correct.
of the music
Genre.
business in Russia, of this particular genre, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So, but it actually, even for American bands, it was something, something unique, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about that, we've had a few different guests on our show that are from overseas. They're either living overseas or they were born overseas, and they are musicians overseas as yourself. I would like to get your take on what is your perceived difference between American metal audiences and overseas metal audiences. Maybe some perceived similarities, but also some perceived differences that you see between the two groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also a brilliant question, guys. In my opinion, for example, normally we're touring a lot. We play like more than 100 shows a year, normally.
Wow.
Yes, that's a lot, guys, seriously, because U.D.O is really well known and we can play in Ecuador and Peru or whatever, you know, like.
Yes.
So that's crazy, but we do, and he likes to play for this audience. So we could survive just doing some regular shows in Germany, you know, like in Central Europe, let's put it that way, right?
Yes.
But he wants to play these crazy places, and I also like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you, because I'm nearly like, I'm touring with U.D.O more than 8 years already, so which is a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, probably I played like
2013, right?
Yeah, something like that. So it means I played around 1,000 shows with Boss, you know.
Goodness sakes,
Man.
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, if I think about that. But yeah, regarding the audience, in every city, people are different anyway. You know, that's my experience. For example, we are touring somewhere in Russia, and in Moscow, it's gonna be more like, hey, just impress me, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they sing it all. But if you just like driving like 200 kilometers away, and that's going to be completely different then, you know. People are more like really into rock and roll. They want to have a party.
Yes.
And so, and the same actually, yeah, in America, I had the same impression about that. Seriously.
Cool.
You know, sometimes we feel like Americans are hard to impress.
Yeah.
And so it's always kind
true.
of a challenge to win an American audience over, because, you know, I think here in America we kind of get oversaturated. We're a little bit spoiled sometimes. We get a lot of things given to us, and I think sometimes overseas audiences tend to be maybe a little bit more grateful for the performances that they get to witness and watch live. And so I was just wondering if you kind of picked up on that same thing, not to downplay American metal audiences, because they are very loyal and very true to the bands that they love and follow, but it just seems like the overseas audiences really embrace metal, and it's a lifestyle for them.
Yeah, actually, guys, you just were really close to what I wanted to say. It was more about like we have like huge back catalog, right? And we are not new band anyway for the audience, right? And if, for example, some people coming to see us, like 80% of them, they probably heard something from Accept, from U.D.O, you know, in, I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago or 15, but we're not new. And they perfectly know that we are doing good in Europe. So, and of course, it's a different thing. For example, I can imagine being like musician, just like with my young band, you know, we just put out first record, and then we going to United States, like, and hey, let's kick their ass, you know.
Right.
And then it can be, it could be really hard, I would say, right?
For sure.
Yeah, but with our material, we have songs like Metal Hard, Balls to the Wall, and, you know, like just, and because simply of the amount of shows we normally used to play, we play them good, seriously.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot be disappointed.
So you guys, well, I know U.D.O, and I'm a big Accept fan, and I've listened to Accept since I was young. Like when I remember getting Restless and Wild and of course Balls to the Wall albums and just loving it when I was a young kid. I think I was in the 7th grade, like 19, I don't know, long time. But anyway, I'm a big fan, and of course, you know, when U.D.O left Accept, you know, it was heartbreaking. And then, you know, I just never knew when Accept was going to, you know, get the right guy. And I feel like now they have a great singer and they're doing well. And of course, you know, I'm sure U.D.O gets blasted with many. When are you going to rejoin Accept and all that stuff? But he decided to do Dirkschneider and almost like a farewell to Accept songs and playing them live and things like that. And you guys went out and you played a lot of Accept songs, and that was almost his way of saying goodbye. But are you guys do you still do some Accept songs, or are you done with those?
No. We still do, but we had a break. So that was a crazy situation also, because that's supposed to be the last time, right?
Right.
Yeah, he announced that like that. So, but then this crazy Corona thing started, and of course, we had, as I told you, we had just like 2 chances to play this year, and all of them were like really on the edge, So,
Yes.
and we decided like, hey, let's have fun, let's give people what they want, So
Yeah.
I mean, we have also good songs since I joined the band, and albums from the 80s are also awesome. So I'm enjoying playing my own stuff. That's for sure. So,
Yes.
but
Right.
the same time, that's if people actually singing every single note with you, I'm talking about like classics from 80s, like
Metal
songs like
Heart.
Princess. Yeah, exactly. Princess of Dawn, Fast as a Shark,
Yeah.
And we decided like, hey, let's make something special. And it was working well, seriously. This time we had fun. Yeah, and I guess audience also, as far as I can see.
Right. Definitely. So
So U.D.O, he has decided to put away the Dirkschneider because I guess he just kind of looked at it as a side project, and he didn't want to get U.D.O and Dirkschneider confused with people. So did his Dirkschneider now done and put away, and now everything's focused on U.D.O?
Yes.
yes.
So basically, Dirkschneider was more about all the except classic stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it just, and we decided just to change the name. And of course, for some people, it was really confusing because, for example, in Russia, U.D.O is a bigger figure if you got to compare him to like Accept, for example, because he was able to build his own name in this region, in this let's say part of the world, and and we play more than Accept, for example, in this ex-Soviet Union territory,
Yeah.
Right.
So, and some people are coming and asking me hey, what's going on? Why should you change the name? Because we kind of know U.D.O and we know he was a singer of Accept, and just to play Accept songs and under U.D.O name, and but it was clever for European market. That was really clever because it was something new, something special anyway, right?
Hey, let's talk a little bit about your solo albums. You have put out several, and your latest is called Electric Gravity. Let me put the album cover up here so people can see what it looks like. And you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you have just released the 3rd single off of the album, and it is called Light and Shadow. Am I correct on all of that?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
and I read something about Light and Shadow. You said that particular song is a celebration of all forms of arts. Explain what you mean a little bit about that, and tell us, I think you made this album, you were able to focus on this album during the pandemic shutdown, and so you really had a good opportunity to really work hard on it. So tell us about your latest solo effort that you have released.
Yeah, regarding if you're talking about Light and Shadow, actually, to me it sounds like Yngwie Malmsteen with some crazy electronic stuff going on the top of that. So
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, and that was my idea, seriously, because let's be honest. The guitar music itself. So the guitar sound was not changing for so many years, right?
Yeah.
So that's true. I mean, some people trying to change that to put something new, but still it's like distortion all the way, right? And basically that's it.
Right.
And and at the same time, guitar and the guitarist as the complete thing became like something really, I don't know what's the word, so it's like doctor, if I'm gonna tell you hey, can you imagine like a typical doctor?
Yeah.
And immediately you're gonna see the guy wearing like something like white or bluish or
Yes.
this crazy stuff on them, something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the rock guitarist is also kind of the same thing nowadays, right?
Correct.
I mean, if you're gonna ask me like, hey, who's the rock guitarist? And the first thing is like, yeah, Slash, for example, right?
Right.
So something like that. So, and of course, I cannot change it myself, and I perfectly understand that the guitar music is kind of, that's already made.
Right.
So, and only one thing I can do is to build something new around that. That's how I see that.
Yes.
No.
And I decided like, hey, I'm going to make it more interesting just because of arrangements. I cannot create like new guitar sound, and I don't want to do that seriously because I like the classic guitar sound with distortion, like guitar straight into Marshall.
Yes.
So that's the rock and roll thing, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Correct.
Why should you change that? Why should you mess with that? So
Right. And hey, since you mentioned Marshall, tell us a little bit about the gear you use. Scott and I were looking at we're watching some of your videos this morning, and we did not recognize the brand of amplifier that you use. What amplifier?
Well, no, I think it's AMT.
Yeah,
right?
I did not recognize that brand. Is that from Germany?
No, that's the Russian brand. So
The Russian brand. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
They sound great.
Yeah, and then in one of your videos, you had it looks like a Fender guitar, but there was no, the Fender name
Logo.
wasn't on the headstock. So we were kind of curious of what your favorite guitars that you like to play, and tell us a little bit about the AMT amps and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Also, awesome question, because nowadays, as you know, probably, right, that's like the guitar work became digital completely.
Yes.
Right.
But I'm still trying to kind of to hold my gear and to do not go digital like 100%. Because to be honest, at home, if I'm practicing, it can be just a small Marshall or like a Chinese one, but with just a simple knob like distortion and a little bit of reverb, and that's enough for me. So I don't need to have this fancy stuff. And also I can be connected to the computer, using all the modern VSTs. I have them all. So
Yes.
Kemper is also good. But, during the live show, I want to have this feeling, of every single note. I want to have the guitar as a kind of dynamic instrument still, because all this processor, they killing the feeling, so of course it's all in the hands and blah blah blah, but you perfectly know what I mean. So if it's simple like a preamp or just an amplifier, real one, you can still feel that it lives,
Absolutely. And I think the better guitar players out there are the ones that do not rely so much on just tons and tons of delay and reverb and effects, because you have to play clean when you're not using all of that as a crutch. And so the players that are very accomplished and very good are the ones that use very little of that stuff. Do you agree with that?
I agree, 100%. And it's not that easy, as you said, right, to play the real stuff. And if, for example, I've been using also processors, and all these modern devices, but then I thought like, hey, I play classic heavy metal. So why should I use all this modern bullshit? I just wanna keep it simple. And basically, I have like 3 sounds in my rig.
Sure, that's great.
To be honest, but of course, it's like in the end, it's maybe 5 or 6. But the basic thing is like main distortion, lead sound, and of course clean. But we don't really need that. Because I can also reduce volume for, also simple, right?
Right.
And of course now, regarding modern technology, we're trying to use, all these modern devices to switch the presets in the preamp, because I found myself running constantly from the middle of the stage to the left side, which is kind of my stage position, just to control my MIDI pedal board, And it looks so stupid because sometimes we play, not sometimes, most of the time we play on the big stages, and it looks insane, especially on the DVDs. You know, sometimes I've been watching this DVD from Dirkschneider, and actually the guy who was making all this, you know, editing stuff, he did a really good job because you cannot really see that. But still, it was a lot of running for me here and there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but so sometimes for new songs, for U.D.O songs, we have everything programmed, so I don't need to run. But at the same time, if you do all the stuff from 80s, you know, all the classic metal songs from Accept, I was the first guy who was saying like, no, let's play it without click, just like a real stuff, you know, like it used to be.
Right, that's great. That's really great.
And we're gonna get back to some U.D.O stuff and some Accept talk, but I wanted to bring up when we were doing some research on all things Andrey. I came across a couple of cover songs that you were kind of jamming to. You were doing something with a Pantera, Walk, and also you did Judas Priest's Painkiller.
Yes.
So some very awesome songs. So I know you have you have the skill set of the old school heavy metal, especially Dimebag. Is he one of a big influence on you?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Especially now, if you're talking about the guitar sound, that's the guy who was able to find his own thing, definitely. Because from the record, from the first record till the last one, he was kind of basically, it was the same sound, but a little bit better all the time. Like step by step, he made it even better in the end, right?
Yeah.
But it still was the same kind of tone, and probably because the tone was here, since the beginning. And if you're talking about riffs, which is the main thing in metal, this guy was just killing that, all the time. Yes. For sure.
Absolutely, he was. Tell us a little bit about your experience working with Paul Dano. I believe that was in 2010. How did you meet Paul, and how did you get involved in working with him?
It was also a crazy story. As I told you, like the Russian market is too small, and I basically had a chance to serve some older dudes, like pop artists, or just play in cover band. And the cover band was, of course, the last thing I wanted to do in my life,
Right.
Just, because music for me, it's all about creativity, it's all about passion, and I don't want to spend my life just playing someone else's songs,
Sure.
No way. So, and with Paul, it was actually cool because the promoter, he knew me, and he was searching for a lineup. For whatever reason, Paul was not able to bring his German band to Russia. And it was like Russian, Ukrainian, and so it was like the tour, the whole thing. So, and the promoter was like, hey, Paul, why don't you take some guys from Russia? We can just put band together here, and you can fly in a little bit earlier, and we can practice with the guys, and I can promise that it's going to be like a, let's say, high-class band.
Right.
He put band together, and he chose me as I was chosen as a guitarist there, as one of the guys. And for me, it was, of course, a pleasure because I'm a big fan of Killers, for example, and some classic stuff with Paul, because you already heard a lot of things about 80s metal from me, right? So,
sure.
Hey, we're big 80s fans.
Also.
Yeah. So you also did a project with, I guess, U.D.O, Max Cavalera, and Zach Wilde, and Joey Belladonna from Anthrax.
Wow.
I guess that was a project in 2014 called Metal All-Stars.
Tell us about that.
That had to have been awesome.
Yes, that was something special for me. And thanks to U.D.O, because it was actually his idea to put me in also, because I don't feel myself like a star or whatever, like because it's let's be honest, metal stars. It's probably metal star or rock star. That's the guy from 80s, from early 90s, right? So something like that. I don't see that many rock stars nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
No kidding.
And that's one thing that just drives us crazy. It's like, when is the next, era come of rock stars? It's just like there's just no one in sight, and it's almost scary because I don't want it to die away like a flame.
Right.
We want it to continue on, but it just seems like there's just not that next level of rock stars. So yeah, I truly understand that.
That's really hard topic for me, seriously. Yesterday I had a talk with a friend of mine, and basically they came to the same point, and my friend was saying like, hey, but it's going to be another round for rock and roll anyway, maybe. And I was like, hey, maybe I'm going to be like 70 or 80 already. So, of course, I'm trying to keep it up. What can I do? Even I perfectly understand that no one needs like instrumental metal records nowadays, or guitar-oriented stuff. No one needs, right? Let's be honest again.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing. But if not us, who else then, right?
That's right. My hope is that at some point these young kids will again embrace this kind of music and find the same joy that we have found in learning the instrument. I mean, for me, I started the guitar at age 12, and it actually kept me out of a lot of trouble. And so it was a good, positive thing. And, here I am 47 years old, still playing in a band. So if the youth could embrace the joy of playing an instrument, I think it would catch fire again, and we would see more rock and roll out there in the world. Hopefully it's going to happen for us.
Yeah, guys, and seriously, it's really hard to explain sometimes, because I'm trying to listen to modern stuff, and sometimes it has nothing to do with hard rock music or metal music, but it's all it's all synthetic, it's all fake. It just, for me, it's just if I'm playing guitar on stage, I'm trying to feel every note. It goes from here directly to there, to my to my fingers. And I'm trying to live my life with the guitar, at the same time. So it's the instrument that's like something. How do I call that? Because if you're on stage, you have a feeling like you're just like coming to another dimension or something, something like that. So it's that's the feeling that you cannot really describe. It's not that easy, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, but definitely every note has a feeling. If you're talking about live music, it can be, for example, if you're playing the band, you perfectly know. For example, one guy is coming and he's in a bad mood, but he still needs to perform. Or sometimes we all have like flu or headache, it can be whatever.
Right.
But they still need to perform. And the rock and roll, it's more like a medicine in a way, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I played so many shows with really strong headache, or I just felt bad. Maybe there was something happening in my private life, but I was still on stage and I felt better always.
Of course, yes. It is definitely therapeutic.
That's the magic thing.
Yes, it's very therapeutic, and it heals. And gosh, it binds us. It bonds us together. It doesn't matter if we're from different countries. Once that music starts, it brings us together like family.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yes.
And the one guy maybe who felt worse, than the guy who came actually with flu, for example, right? And he felt really bad, and he actually even maybe sometimes was not really able to perform. In the end, he's like, yes, we just killed it, and I feel way better. So
Yes.
And that's the therapy, as you said. Seriously, that's for
Agreed.
sure. And but with all this like plastic synthetic modern thing, I don't think that it works that way. Probably, as far as I can see, all these like rappers and hip hop stars, they're just getting wasted, you know.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
just like, because of volume, they're getting mad, nuts, whatever. Like they feel something. Of course, they feel like adrenaline coming and all this stuff. But still, it's all synthetic, you know. It's all artificial.
Yeah,
It's artificial.
we agree. We agree very much with that.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the people who you have played with in U.D.O, which I guess U.D.O's son, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm going to say, is it Seven?
No, Sven.
Sven.
Okay, so
Sven.
his son is now plays drums in the band. How was that like? Is that a good relationship playing with him?
Yeah, now, you know, he joined us probably in 2015.
Yeah.
Yes, so it means, already 6 years ago.
Wow.
And he was the youngest guy in the band, you know, and for him, of course, but, you know, probably you can imagine if you're like being son of rock star, you know, of course, you kind of, it gets into your blood, you know.
Of course.
Like since he was born, he was always visiting, you know, he was always watching the shows, you know. Of course, this music is nothing new for him, but now over the years he became a really good drummer. I mean, he became a killer drummer for metal music nowadays.
Wow.
And I guess it was also the right decision to take him because now, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I cannot really imagine my father being singer in a band.
Right.
And, you know, but at the same time, if it could have been like that, then probably I would have been also happy. Seriously.
Of course,
because
yes.
seriously, it's something also unique. Yeah,
Very.
because
Kind
sometimes-
of reminds me of when like Eddie Van Halen and Wolfgang, you know, were in Van Halen together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that must be very special, and not many people get to experience that, certainly. So.
And then
it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happens a lot nowadays, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
seems like it.
And you also got to play with the drummer from Accept, Kaufman, but he played guitar in U.D.O as well. What was that like? I mean, it's almost like basically being part of almost an Accept family here.
Yeah. I was only one guy which was new there.
Right.
Well,
Right.
new. Yeah. Yeah. So we had really great lineup, and as you said, Stefan Kaufmann was part of that. He joined us for a couple of Dirkschneider shows, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I've learned the songs my own way, because I'm the guy who's I don't like all this tablature and all this Guitar Pro stuff, you know. I'm trying to rely on my music memory, on my music feelings, you know, always. So, and of course, I learned the songs my own way. So, and sometimes you cannot really hear all these small details because, in the 80s, all these records were sometimes not a brilliant sounding ones, right?
Sure, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this riff is it's not the same as you do right now. So I'm gonna show you the right version of that.
Yeah.
But funny thing, you know, like he showed me his version and we played that because it was comfortable for him. But in the end, actually before that, before the festival this summer, you know, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna kind of practice a little bit because I kind of simply forgot all this stuff because we didn't play this set list for like nearly 3 years or something like that. Yeah. So, and you know, like I was listening to all the Accept stuff, you know, and playing guitar at the same time. And then I recognized that the stuff he showed me wasn't actually right. So it means, you know, over the years, he transformed all the riffs the way how he likes to hear them, you know?
Right. That happens. I think we all kind of change as players over the years. Some of us evolve and some of us devolve, but hopefully most of us are growing and getting better. Now, I do want to ask you, we won't keep you much longer. Thank you for your time today. This has been a wonderful interview. How special was it playing the Navy Medal Night with the German Military Orchestra? Tell us about that.
Oh, guys. Again, brilliant question. Thanks for that. Yeah, that was unique thing. I guess every musician is dreaming about just being on stage and just to perform in front of the audience and having this like background with like 80 or whatever people behind you also playing the same music, right? But on our instruments. And the funny thing, you know, we just didn't want to go to the same direction as many other bands do. I'm talking about like having this classic orchestra with violins and all these cellos, you know, and we decided to, hey, let's make it heavy. So we play German heavy metal. So we should have like military orchestra on the back.
Wow, so awesome.
Yeah, that was seriously, these instruments they're so loud. I mean, just unbelievable. All these drums and, you know, like, whoa. And of course, it was a brilliant experience for all of us. And for me personally as a musician, you know, and of course we changed also arrangements, you know, and it was not just like, hey, let's put some orchestra on the top of our like classic songs, you know. And we decided to choose special songs, and some of them we just didn't play before, and we made some parts longer, some parts shorter, you know, all this stuff. So it was not the easiest thing.
Sure.
But at the same time, it made it special.
Yes.
So this evening was definitely special. That was one of the best shows I have ever had in my life.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Very cool. Scott?
Well, we're not gonna. We're asking one more question now. I know "Game Over" is the new album, and we're excited to hear it. We can't wait till it comes out. It's on AFM Records. You also have a tour. It's called the Game Over Tour 2021, 2022. What's the foresee future in this tour? Do you see that it's going to continue to go on, or is you just going to have a lot of speed bumps on the way?
Oh yeah, but now it looks optimistic. Let's wait, because now, of course, summer is you know, last year it was happening probably in September or October. I mean, lockdown thing, right?
Right.
I don't remember exactly, but it was autumn or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you never know what's going to be even tomorrow, but we try to stay positive. And of course, for us, it's really important to play, and especially new songs for our audience. And I kind of feel already kind of a little bit disconnected.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, we used to play a lot of shows, and just I need that because it's my drug anyway. And probably the other guys, they're gonna tell you the same thing. So, and now it looks optimistic, seriously.
Oh, that's good news.
That's great.
That is very good.
Well, we know that We Are One is out, so the viewers who are watching, please go out and get that album. And you have a new song out, I believe, on Spotify, Kids and Guns, and
2 songs.
Yeah, 2 songs. And those 2 songs are on Game Over, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Metal Never Dies, the first single, and then Kids and Guns. Yeah. Okay. And it's going to be third one anyway.
When does that come out? Do you know when that comes out?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Well, we will be watching for it. We want everyone that's watching to know that they can find more information on Andrey at asmirnoff.ga. It's got his entire biography, news, great pictures. He's got all kinds of stuff on there. And not only are you busy with your bands and your solo project, but I also read that you also help contribute or create original music for other people. So if people are needing original music content, you can help them with that as well. Is that correct?
I do a lot of stuff like that, and it can just be like, okay, maybe rock and roll band or pop band, or sometimes I'm doing stuff for movies, So any kind of music, because I'm a music lover, so that's my life. What can I do?
I understand. We can tell. And listen, we're so appreciative of you coming on with us. We know that it's later in the evening where you are, and it's in the middle of the afternoon here. Thank you for accommodating us and talking to us. It's been such a great conversation. Everybody, please support Andrey Smirnoff and all of his efforts. Again, go to his website, asmirnoff.ga, for more information. Andrey, thank you so much for coming on Tulsa Music Stream today. We appreciate you.
Thanks,
awesome.
guys. Thanks, guys.
Keep rocking.
That was
as wonderful.
Keep rocking, guys.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Take care, buddy.
Take care, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, great guy. Oh,
That's
man.
cool.
Love it. Love it.
I was going to ask him, all right, in your opinion, will U.D.O and Accept have a reunion?
I don't
know.
know. I don't. That's,
But he probably gets that all the time.
Oh yeah,
And I'm sure like U.D.O gets that all the time too.
Oh sure he does, sure.
But that would have been so cool.
What a nice guy. It just it just kind of reinforces the whole. Music is a universal language, is it not? And it doesn't matter if you're here in the States or overseas. Everyone loves it. For those of us who play it, it is truly like a drug.
And definitely check out his solo stuff. He's got videos and stuff all over YouTube. Andrey Smirnoff. So just check him out, man. He's a great guitar player. He's got a great sound. He's all over the place. He's got it all. He's he's doing all sorts of different weird sounds, and he's kind of unique in his own way. But then at the same time, like he's saying, he's Yngwie Malmsteen type stuff.
Right.
So he can pull all that out, and then just he's all over the place. He's great.
Definitely, he's like us. He's trying to keep this genre of music alive.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that about him.
All the references of the 80s rock and metal that he kept bringing up, and it's like he just lives it like we do.
Oh,
so
for sure.
That's so cool.
For sure. So let's give a big shout out to our sponsors. And golly, guys, the week is finally here. It's going down this weekend, Rocklahoma, and we do not know who the replacement for Limp Bizkit is yet, do we?
I think it's Stiff Biscuit.
You are incorrect about that. Either way, it's a party at Rocklahoma. You need to be there. A bunch of our friends are playing. We're playing Saturday. DMS is playing Thursday, and then we've got a bunch of our other friends that are playing. Just go to the whole thing and have fun. Be careful. Exercise good hygiene as much as possible out there, and just have a great time at Rocklahoma DEB Concerts. Thank you for your sponsorship. Also want to give a big shout out to Identity Merch for handling our online store. Todd Cook is a wonderful guy, and he takes care of our t-shirt sales. If you haven't picked up a t-shirt yet or a hoodie, gosh, it's going to be getting colder soon. You need a hoodie, so get you.
Well,
when
the cicadas are out doing their thing, that means it's just the end of the summer.
It's almost hoodie season,
and
right?
They're all over the place.
Right. Shout out to okiepc.com. Thank you for making our streaming on multiple platforms possible. GregShipman.com. Hey, they just sent us some really cool footage.
Yep, and with the LA Guns Phil Lewis interview,
yes.
and all the footage of us saying goodbye to the IDL.
Yeah.
We will be working on that. I believe that should be our next episode.
Yeah, probably going to do a farewell to the IDL episode.
So even though we have an episode coming up with Britt Lightning from Vixen, and that will be Tuesday, September 14th at 7 p.m., I think we probably will do the LA Guns Phil Lewis interview thing probably before that.
Wedge it in there. We are working on other stuff, too. I need to give one more shout-out to our last sponsor who has to be running around crazy, Adam Richmond, Surviving Rocklahoma. Thanks for setting us up on the Zoom calls, and we'll definitely be looking for him out there at Rocklahoma. He's going to be doing his thing that he does so well.
Yeah.
And like Scott said, we're working on putting more shows together, so we will be we will be announcing those on the page. Like you said, our next episode is Tuesday, September 14th at 7 p.m., unless we do one before that, which we very likely will.
Right.
So that'll be with Britt Lightning from Vixen.
Hot
And-
guitar player.
Yeah, she is. She's
Like hot.
well, and she's attractive. It's okay. You have a set of eyes, and you're allowed to look. You just can't touch.
Funny.
Right. Hey, one more shout out.
Stiff
to,
Biscuit. I like
hey,
that.
I know those guys. Limp Bizkit cover band. Good deal.
Hard Biscuit.
Again, I just want to give some love to Lupus. You were a good
There
kid.
he is.
Love that guy. We're gonna miss him, but man, he had a great life, and Nine did a great job being a cat dad. And Scott and I had to let Max go last summer, so we're feeling it today. We love you, buddy. We're missing you, and look forward to seeing you and Teresa soon. And just hang in there. It's gonna be a great week, y'all. Rocklahoma. Get your sunscreen and all your preparations for that. Probably need some preparation H for that as well. I don't know. Just be careful out there.
You gonna work on any of your Andrey Smirnoff chops?
I should, but more than likely I'll mop the kitchen floor instead. So anyway.
All right.
Well, we love you guys. We're going to get out of here. Have a great Sunday afternoon, a great week, and we'll be back here at some point. Definitely September 14th with Britt Lightning from Vixen, but maybe before then as well. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Have a good week, and happy Rocklahoma.
Happy Rocklahoma.
See you guys soon. Tulsa Music Stream. Goodbye.